back for another video. My name is Josh Kasich, and today, well, this is my Spider-Man Far From Home spoiler review. And you guys should know that's a spoiler review because it's in the title. It's literally parentheses spoilers, so I don't know why you would click on the video if you haven't seen the movie yet. But if you did accidentally click the video and you still haven't seen the movie, and you don't want any spoilers, I will give you a 10 seconds to leave. 1, 1,000. 2, 1,000. 3, 1,000. 4, 1,000. 5, 1,000. 6, 1,000. 7, 1,000. 8, 1,000. 9, 1,000. 10, 1,000. Alright, that was, I think, enough seconds for you guys to leave the video. Alright? If you didn't leave and you haven't seen the movie, that's your fault for getting spoiled. Do not put down in the comment section, hey, you spoiled the movie, because I gave you plenty of opportunity to know that this is a spoiler video. So, you have been warned. So, I usually do a breakdown. I actually did this video before, but it got to 15-minute videos and there were some errors I had that I was going to cut out, but like the video is so long I just don't have the time to watch the entire thing. So I'm going to try to make this as small as possible. We'll see how this goes. Alright? So starting off the bat, we open up with Nick Fury and Agent Hill. Agent Hill walking to a Mexico City that was destroyed by a storm that people said had a face in it. Then, while they're walking around, a huge sand monster, which we thought was going to be the Sandman thing, it was theorized, pops up. Mysterio comes out and says, "You don't want any part of this." And then it kind of goes after the monster, cuts. Then we go to the Marvel logo and then a montage of superheroes that died, which has, first Tony Stark, obviously because he started the MCU, then Captain America, which is weird because he's not actually died, but I don't think the people know it, and then Natasha, and this is interesting, they actually had Vision too. So yeah, you had those heroes die, and then, or not really die, it's a montage, and it was a video in a school with Betty and her co-star in the school that from the first movie, Spider-Man Homecoming. They talk about how they call the snap, but I think it's from being snapped and putting back together, but they call the entire thing the blip. And then people that didn't get snapped are 5 years older, so people are in school, and the whole point is that they had to restart school. Okay, so you had a full-on school. Alright, so it's the end of the summer, they're going on a school summer vacation. He doesn't want to be Spider-Man, but here's the thing. Peter and Ned Leeds are talking about his plan to ask out MJ, which is the MCU's version of MJ, Mary J, but it's called Michelle. We got that point from the first movie, alright? So, he, plan to ask her out. She walks in, gets awkward, they try to find a way to not say the plans, alright? Okay, so later on, he's playing Spider-Man at a charity, alright? And stuff, and he's kind of awkward, nerdy, he's not used to big crowds, open things. They go in the back, and then, Happy comes in with a check that's from the Stark Company, but specifically signed by Pepper Potts, which I do not like. Does not make sense. It should say Pepper Stark. They got married and had a child. At least I think they got married. I mean, they were talking about it in Infinity War. There's a 5-year gap. They have a child. They should get married. They should have gotten married. But if people are saying they didn't get married, I don't know. Whatever. Let's move on. It's not a big happy thing. Alright, so basically kind of had a weird talk between Happy and Aunt May because they're having kind of a relationship. We'll figure that out later. Then Happy says Nick Fury's going to call. Spider-Man doesn't want. Peter Parker does not want to be Spider-Man right now. He doesn't. He just wants to go on his vacation. So he ghosts Nick Fury by putting on voicemail. He then. Then they go. Then he goes on to he's packing, and then he go on a field trip onto a plane. Well, one of the people that didn't get blipped 5 years older, he's basically also has a kind of feelings for MJ. All right, so now MJ, they're seated. And they're on the plane. Ned and obviously Peter sitting next to it. MJ and Betty are sitting next to each other. But they basically Peter asked Ned to figure out a way to get him sit next to MJ. All right. So Ned gets up and tells Betty, "Hey, can you switch with Peter because he's having he doesn't, the perfume's too strong." He says, "Why? Is he allergic?" And he says, "Yeah, he's allergic." And then that's the teacher. There's two of them, but one of them, the head guy from the last movie, he gets us. Oh, I understand allergy. Okay, everyone, let's get situated. Peter, you're going to sit between me and the other chaperone teacher who's like asleep here, and then Betty, you're going. Ned is going to replace with come on. MJ, and MJ's gonna sit to that other guy, love triangle dude, 5 years older, right? And so basically, Betty doesn't really like Ned at first, but he's playing his video games, and while on the thing, something happens, and his hand touches her. All right, they're off the plane, they're in Venezuela, their next trip, water. All right, turns out that Betty and Ned are a couple now, but that's interesting because in the comic books they actually were dating, then got married. But Ned dies because he was actually a villain. But we'll get to that later. All right, so the whole point is Venezuela is basically a water monster appears and Mysterio comes out and defeats it. All right, that's when Peter Parker finds Mysterio. All right, they go to back to the hotel. Ned walks in his room and then gets a dart shot into him, and you have a big entrance by Nick Fury. All right, so Nick Fury, and then you have the teacher come in, but he didn't really come in all the way. So he didn't see Nick Fury. He walks out, closes the door. Then Betty comes and says, "Hey, boyfriend, why are you not texting, this, right?" He says, Peter says, "Oh, he went to bed." Okay, and then Betty leaves, and then the next person knocks. And then Nick says, "Okay, the next person who knocks on this door will be going to another funeral." Really, Nick Fury? Come on. Really? Whatever. So we go on to the next part. So, Nick Fury takes him with the Spider-Man to his kind of base operation right now in Venezuela, or that area, where he meets Mysterio. And he also meets Dimitri, which is actually interesting because Dimitri, although he's not a villain, he's a Dimitri, that's also the name of a Spider-Man villain who's all about disguises. And Dimitri in this movie is kind of shady type thing, so we don't know his deal. And halfway through the movie, he disappears. That's kind of weird, if you ask me. But whatever. Right. Okay, so he meets Mysterio. Mysterio is from another universe, another Earth, where his planet, he's part of a force that took out the 3 elementals, but the fire one, they couldn't stop and destroy his planet, but now they are all 4 here. He already killed, first he killed the Earth one, he killed the, air one, and he killed the, he killed the water one, right? Okay, so he says the fire one's going to appear in a certain area. If we don't stop them, then he's going to that's going to destroy the Earth. Well, Spider-Man doesn't want to be here right now. He wants to be on vacation. If I go there and I disappear and Spider-Man appear, they're going to call on that I'm Spider-Man. That's not good. I can't have that. Okay, that he has that. And so basically, and then he says, why can't someone else say so, like Thor? And then Nick Fury says, oh, what, Captain Marvel? And he says, well, here's the thing, don't speak her name. Why? Why does Nick Fury not like Captain Marvel now? That's kind of weird. Okay, whatever. Okay, let's move on here. So basically, Peter Parker goes back. And guess what? Their vacation gets hijacked and they're moving another place. Because you know why? Because they're going to the bus. They're going to a new place the teacher talked about. And then guess who? They're going on a bus. But guess who's in front of the bus? Dimitri. Nick Fury hijacked their vacation going to the next place where the fire is here. Well, when they arrive, Dimitri tells them to... Spider-Man sees this lady, and then Dimitri tells him to go there. So he goes into that room. Oh, wait, forgot one thing. Nick Fury gives Parker these glasses from Stark, who actually have an AI or controls a advanced weaponry system, and Edith stands for, even dead, I'm the hero. Really? Wow, okay. That's weird, but yes, Tony was with his AIs are known. He's known to do that, like Jarvis stand for something, even though Jarvis is really named after his butler or his father's butler, family, right? Okay, let's move on. So, right. So they moved on, and they're in this new place, and basically, but right now, he goes into the room where the girl is, and the girl says, okay, Nick Fury said, we can't use your new suit, so we're giving you a new suit that's kind of based like your suit, and it's all about stealth. And she says, now take off your clothes. And says, what? And I don't know why they have to have this scene. To be honest, I hate this next scene. He could have just gone to the bathroom or something, but guess who walks in? Not MJ, but the other guy who likes MJ. And takes a picture while his pants is down, and he walks out. Then Peter pulls it off of his pants and says, "It's not what you think." Okay, and he says, "I don't care about what shady thing, sexual thing you want to do with that woman in there, but I like MJ too, and I'm going to show her this picture." All right, so they're going on the back on the bus and stuff, and he's going to show the picture. So he puts on Edith and accidentally calls a drone to kill this guy. Of course, that doesn't happen. He takes out the drone and then uses Edith to actually get rid of the picture. That's all one cool, interesting thing here. Then they go to the place. They're going to a party. He wants everyone to go there, but Ned and but he has to. Peter has to go, so MJ leaves to find him, and so does Betty and Ned, and then the fire appears, but Mysterio and him actually take care of it. But in the process, a tech thing that MJ picked up fell off of Mysterio. So Mysterio, after being that, Mysterio and Peter Parker go to this bar, okay, and he basically. He says Peter doesn't want to be a hero right now, and he's basically saying, I don't think I'm right with these glasses. So he gives these controls over to Mysterio, aka Quentin Beck. Then he leaves. Then people start disappearing in the bar, like a holographic type thing. Guess what? He says, get this dang suit off of me. And guess what? This is revealed when he's a villain. He's not from another world. All these monsters were illusion created by him and stuff. And that basically you have the science dude from the first Iron Man helping out and a bunch of other people. And he talks about his great plan and that basically he worked for Tony Stark. So it's interesting that the villains of the Spider-Man movies are related to Tony Stark in some way. Well, the barf technology from Captain America Civil War, well, he's the one that created it. And he did not like the fact that Tony Stark called it barf. Second, he didn't like it that he turned it into therapeutic thing, so it doesn't actually represent everything it could have been. And third, he didn't like the fact that Tony Stark took it away from him. Okay? So he's mad, and he was, oh, and fourth, I forgot about this, he got fired because Tony Stark thought he was he was in control, he was kind of crazy, okay? So that's the whole point, and so this whole elaborate plan to get either so they could create this huge Avenger level monster so that he can become a huge hero. Alright, so, but the problem is that basically he's a villain, and they're save the day. So basically, while he's training with, so Peter Parker, he goes back to his thing and wants to ask out MJ, and he's about to do it. He also bought this gift earlier that MJ will love, but instead he doesn't get a chance to. All right, because MJ says that basically, well, Peter says, well, I know you've been looking at me, and I've been looking at you, and all that stuff, and, well, I have something to tell you. And then she says, you're Spider-Man. He says, what? No, I'm not Spider-Man. What? Wait, are you only looking at me because of Spider-Man? And she says, yes. And he's like, oh. And then something happens where that tech thing she picks out comes out, and then he sees the monster, and then, wait, and they do it again, and he figures out who Mysterio really is, and this is all a big problem, so he has to go tell Nick Fury. But now he goes back to Mysterio working with the Edith glasses, the drones and stuff, and he finds out that one of the tech, the holograph things was missing, and he finds out who it has it. It's Peter. And now Peter knows who he is. So now he gets all mad and says, it's because of you that I have to kill Peter Parker. He actually kind of likes, it turns out that I think Quentin actually cares for Peter, and like how like kind of a father-son type relationship, I got like that. And so, but yeah, so basically Peter Parker finds Nick Fury, but he doesn't actually find Nick Fury. It was actually illusion played by Mysterio, and Mysterio kind of puts on this labyrinth illusions, make him crazy and stuff, and then he basically Mysterio gets him to go right in front of a train, and Mysterio thinks he's dead. But with his, although he was severely injured, like really injured, he's not dead because of his strength and obviously plot armor. But whatever. So he ends up being in a jail, I think a Swedish jail, but he uses his strength to get out. And then he calls Happy Hogan, who flies in a ship. They talk about what they have to do, and he builds a new suit. A black and red suit. Now, that's iconic because, see, when Spider-Man originally was creating the idea, originally Jack Kirby made it a red and black suit, but someone complained, so he added some blue highlights to it. But over time, it became blue. Over time, it became permanently red and blue. So this is supposed to be a callback to that what it originally was. And I don't know how long it's going to stay that way. It looks like it's going to stay that way a while, all the way definitely into the third film. Yeah. So, okay, so you have that. Now, so yeah, right. So they're coming up with this idea Hogan's going to rescue his friends because, oh, by the way, Mysterio figured out that Ned and MJ also know. And then Ned finds out that MJ knows that he's Spider-Man and stuff. So, but that whole dynamic. All right. So they're in London right now. They're basically one of Mysterio's person that's working with Mysterio. He's on the bus. He's the bus driver for the people, and that basically he stops the bus, walks out, and then the storm starts happening. These people, they're screaming. They says a huge Avengers level threat. Mysterio's actually on the London Bridge though, and Nick Fury and stuff are in a and Hill are in a building. So basically, Spider-Man comes out and you have this huge elaborate battle going on. Mysterio, and then basically Happy puts a secret message to Nick Fury. So he has Agent Hill go to the roof, and then a drone appears to kill him, but Hill shoots it down. But you have other drones coming after the friends, like basically that blew up the plane that Happy Hogan was on. So basically, Happy Hogan landed, got his friends and stuff, and they go into a museum and stuff, and then they MJ smashed one, and they're in this. They lock the doors, and so they're hidden in there, and then so that's going on, right? And basically, they're kind of all confessing now. Basically, everyone doesn't think Flash was really doing anything right now, but Happy Hogan told him, "Oh, it's because you're doing your live streams now." Flash Thompson was doing live streams and stuff throughout the entire time, and so it says, "Oh, Spider-Man found you because of your live streams and stuff." So, but yeah, so they're all waiting for the drone to blow up the door and stuff, and so they're all confessing stuff. And then Happy Hogan out of nowhere says, starts to confess. He says, "I'm in love with Spider-Man's aunt." Oh boy. Alright. Whatever. So, like I said, you have this huge battle between Spider-Man and he basically figures to go into the... He knows that the storm is a hologram, so he goes in and starts taking out the drones and stuff, destroying it, and then basically he goes onto the bridge. He finds Quentin Beck, aka Mysterio, inside the London Bridge top part. You know, the whatever. Basically, goes in there, and basically, but Mysterio is protected by a bunch of drones and stuff, and he says. But basically, now, like I said, Spider-Man's powers weren't his what's it called? Spidey sense weren't working throughout the movie, and it's kind of it wasn't really well explained, but I think it's because well. Basically, he doesn't believe in himself. He doesn't want to be a hero, and that's why it's not working. It kind of feels like the callback to the second Spider-Man movie, which is really loved. Basically his powers stopped working all of a sudden. And so it's kind of like that, but he figures out how to work it. Then Mysterio starts putting on all his illusions and stuff with the drones to kill him. But Peter Parker, his Spider-Man's, which is fun, throughout the movie they kept calling it the Peter Tingles, which is weird. But yeah, so the Spidey sense kicked in, and he starts using it to destroy the drones and stuff. But in the process, they're shooting, and when he knocks one thing, one of it shoots Mysterio. And then Peter Parker destroys all of them, and Mysterio's on the ground, and he says, "Okay, I'll give you these glasses." But then he senses Mysterio, that's the illusion, and the guy has a gun to his head, but Spider-Man stops it, and then basically he takes the glasses from Mysterio and then makes the things go all the way back, and then Mysterio dies. Well, that's what it looks like, but my thinking is that hopefully, I don't want him to actually be dead, and he's just pretending to be dead, like an illusion that he's dead. I know that basically Peter Parker used Edith's glasses to ask if this is an illusion, and she says it's not an illusion, but that illusion's only dealing with the tech illusions. But illusion's not always tech. It could be magic. It could also be pretending to be dead. I mean, actors do it all the time when their character they're playing as dies in the movie. So why can't him do it? He's the master of illusion, so he could probably master acting. And so I think and we don't really see his body afterwards, do we? I mean, we don't see it get picked up. We don't see it get buried. We don't nothing. So it's kind of weird, right? And but yeah, so you have that. Then but what I like about this scene most is because Mysterio lost like he should lose. Basically, Mysterio is all like in the comic books. Mysterio's all good with this special effects and this tech and illusions and stuff. But once Peter or Spider-Man beats those illusions, Mysterio falls because he's just a normal human being, so he'll fall like a normal human being against someone who has super strength and all that powers. So he lost like he should lose. All right, so that's pretty simple, right? And then, but yeah, so Peter leaves, and then MJ comes on and says, they're talking and says, "So sorry that and then basically she says, "Oh, I've been lying too. I actually do like you." They kiss, and then she goes off while Peter, what is Peter? I don't know. Oh yeah. So Peter goes off and stuff, and basically, so that was pretty much it and of the movie. Well, near the end, near the very end. Peter is in his new studio. He basically is talking and stuff, and then he goes into asking, "So are you guys? So are you guys dating?" And then we see Hogan and Aunt May and stuff, and Happy Hogan's like, "Yeah, I think so." And then Aunt May's like, "Well, it's just a fling and stuff." They're arguing kind of stuff, but then Spider-Man says, "I don't have time for this. I have to go on a date." So he puts his mask on and he leaves. And he finds MJ, and he shows around New York City by swinging, and then that's where it kind of ends. Then we go to the mid-credits scene where basically it kind of goes back to that day, and he puts her down. Basically says, "Okay, I do not like this. I'll never do that again." And then their kind of date ends, and Peter goes off. But then a newscast comes on. And guess who it is? It's Jonah Jameson. And guess who plays him? J.K. Simmons. They got him back. See, in the Spider-Man, Spider-Man with Tobey Maguire, the Sam Raimi movies, J.K. Simmons also played Jonah Jameson, and people believe he's like the best one. Like, there's no one who can play Jonah Jameson at that. And so they actually got him back, which is pretty cool. Except for they should have given him a toupee. He was bald, so it was weird. But basically what happened was Mysterio had put out a video framing Spider-Man as the menace behind what happened in London. And then he revealed Spider-Man as Peter Parker. And so that's where it ends. And so now his identity is over the world. But is it really, though? We'll get... I have another video that will... but I don't know if I talked about that video. Maybe not. But what I say is, like, if you think about it here, is that if he... Theoretically, there's no actual evidence that is Peter. I mean, so theoretically, people, most likely the government, will still go after him just because of that. But yet, there's still a way to Peter to come up with an idea to prove that he's not Spider-Man. Because there's no actual evidence that he is Peter Parker. Okay? But other than that, but now if they do go that route, if he's on the run, I think Spider-Man, the third movie will be called Spider-Man No Home because he's on the run. Right? Then we have, what's it called? And then you have the post-credit scene where you have Nick Fury and Agent Hill in a car. Then they Nick Fury and Helen, they were actually Skrulls, Talos, and his wife from the Captain Marvel. They were Nick Fury and Agent Hill the entire time. So now, before you think this is Secret Invasion, it is not, because Talos was talking, and that he was actually secretly a Skrull. I mean that he was talking to Nick Fury. Nick Fury. My bad. What was I saying? So he was actually talking to Nick Fury on a phone, and Nick Fury's actually taking a break from doing all the agent stuff, and he's on a spaceship full of Skrulls. And then there's that, and that's pretty much it for this video, guys. 30 minutes, I could see it was long, but lots shorter than 50, alright? But I hope you guys enjoyed this. I really enjoyed this film. That's what happens. I really don't like the whole he was taking out his pants and the guy saw him thing. That I feel like it's unnecessary. I don't like the fact that they killed Mysterio, but they might not have I mean, they didn't kill Mysterio because the mantle could pass down, like in the comic books. But the fact that I mean, Quinn and Beck, I wish they didn't really kill him. I mean, there's a possibility that they didn't, but I don't think they're going to go that route. But you will learn more about this in my in the Spider-Man theory video that I will be also uploading. And so there's that. Like I said, I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, please leave a like. And if you are new, subscribe and hit the notification bell so you can notify from the next upload. My YouTube channel website link is down in the description as always. And thank you. Goodbye.